everybody. I thought we would do a lab at home. I have no idea if this is going to work, so just be patient. And there are directions for this on Schoology that go step by step and have a list of everything you need. We're going to extract DNA from a strawberry. So I've got a strawberry here that I hid so my kids wouldn't eat it. And you could also use a banana. They have a fair amount of DNA in them as well. So those two work really well, but you can use other things. So other items you're going to need, you'll need a little plastic bag. You will need, and I forgot to get this out, you will need some dish soap. So I've got some Dawn dish soap. It does not matter the brand. And then you're going to need some rubbing alcohol. And you want, all right, here's my rubbing alcohol. You want to put your rubbing alcohol in the freezer for a little bit because it needs to be really, really cold. So I'm going to put it back in the freezer. And hopefully my dog is here. He might bark, so I'll just warn you. Now, you're going to take your strawberry, cut off any like the green leaves, and the directions say you need 2 strawberries. I don't think you need 2 strawberries. It also says you can use frozen strawberries, so if you got those, you could try that as well. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your strawberry in the bag and just start smushing it up. So you're just separating cells from cells. So the whole point is we want to get the DNA out of the different strawberry cells. The DNA is in the nucleus. So first we have to separate the cells. Then we're going to want to try to get the cell membrane to break down. And that's why we use soap. So I've smushed this up. Now I'm going to take a cup. I'm going to use this cup. And I'm going to make a solution with soap and salt. And so they say you need 2 teaspoons of soap. So I've got a teaspoon. You could just use a spoon. It doesn't have to be super exact. So there's 1. Let's go out really slowly. And now 2. My dog's barking. That's Odin. He's a lab. So he could have been my lab assistant, but he didn't want to be in the movie. All right. Then you also need some salt. I should have had that ready. And I've done this without salt. So if you don't have salt, I would just skip it and do it anyway. And do 1 teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of water. And you want to mix that up, but don't mix it so much that you get a lot of bubbles. So, but to get that salt to dissolve in there. And this makes way more than you need. So, you could save it and extract DNA from everything in your house if you wanted to. But, so, now I'm going to add some of this to my strawberry. And they just say to add 2 teaspoons. So again, we made a whole bunch. But, so there's 1 teaspoon. And there's 2 teaspoons. And then I'm going to close this and we're going to smush some more with the soap. So try to get it broken up. When we actually do this in the class, it's like the best smelling lab because it smells like strawberries as opposed to some of the other things we do. So like liver. So smush, smush. Try to break down any chunks that are in there. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to filter this so we get rid of the kind of what we would call the cellular debris. It's all the chunks of cells. The DNA at this point should be out of the cells because the soap is breaking down the cell membrane because it breaks down lipids. And the nuclear membrane is also a lipid bilayer, so it's going to break that down as well. And so the DNA should be floating around in the liquidy part, but we can't see it yet. So to filter it, you need a coffee filter. Maybe ask your parents before stealing their coffee filters, because they might be upset if you use up the last coffee filter. And if you don't have a coffee filter, you might be able to use paper. You could just try. So I'm going to pour now my solution in here as best you can. And we let that sit. You can see it start to drip. And I'm going to pause the video and let this sit and drip for a while, and then we'll come back when it's done. All right, so it's filtered. There's not a lot in there, so hopefully it'll be enough for us to see the DNA. And the next step is to add the rubbing alcohol, and it says to add a half a cup, which seems like an awful lot to me for that amount. I'm gonna do a quarter cup right now, or just a little, and then we'll see how much we really actually need. When you add this, you want to take it and you want to just very, very slowly dribble it down the side, and it should form a layer on top of the strawberry goo. And oh, that's pretty good. You can see now, so what's happening here is the DNA is not soluble in the alcohol. And if you can kind of see like the stringy stuff there, that's the DNA. And so now you can take a toothpick, or the directions say a coffee stirrer. I just have a chopstick here. So what you can try to do is you can try to spool up the DNA. So I'm gonna very carefully, and it's gonna look a lot like, there you see that string there? That's the DNA. It looks a lot like white snot. I know it's very technical. So, if you can see, try to get the glare off it. There's the DNA right there. And it's difficult to get a nice long thread because, you know, it's probably gotten damaged in our process. But there, oops, sorry, right there, that's DNA right there. Put it above this so I'm dripping all over. So that's the DNA. And it's the DNA and the proteins that the DNA is wrapped around. Most common question I always get about this is, if you put it under the microscope, could we see the double helix? And we can't see it at that level under a microscope in our room. But that is that substance right there. And so there's the DNA. So you can try this too. You could try it with other things other than a strawberry, like I said. And maybe just have some fun with it, and hope you're enjoying the shutdown as much as you can, and that everyone's staying safe and healthy.